describe this as the third attempt now where we have tried to do this. Because my usual sort of candid, oh, look, we're just chatting and, oh, here we are talking about heresy, did not work. So all of my sort of, natural charm has been dashed to the side. But here we are, the Outcast Sons, coming to you in live Technicolor, doing some Tale of Four Gamers. So as you can see through the power of YouTube, Nick and I, well, actually, I can't take any credit, and neither can Nick really, have kind of decided to do some more hobby content, basically, where we discuss what we've been working on, some visual aids with some heresy pals, because, well, I feel like at the start of third edition, everybody was feeling a bit rocky. Everyone knows it was a pretty rocky start. So we just wanted to talk about heresy vibes, good time in the hobby, and sort of see where it takes us as we all manically paint models for events and, just sort of being competitive with each one. Yeah, as you know, we are the Outcast Sons, but the Outcast Sons, but more. So as you'll be able to see, well, I can't see because I'm hosting this and I can only see the screen I'm looking at, but you'll see myself, Matt, the disembodied voice in your heads for the past however many episodes, 5, what is it, like 2 episodes in 3 years next, something like that, right?
8 years or something, right?
Something like that.
1.5 episodes.
Yeah, obviously you'll recognise Nick having just spoken there, where you may or may not be able to see his grubby bed, who knows. And then 2 new heresy heroes joining us for this little journey, Isaac and Faye. Do you want to say hello, Isaac and Faye?
Isaac, nice to see everyone. Everyone.
Hi, I'm Faye of the Isaac and Faye duo.
Of the elimination, the only other person, unless there's another person in the room.
Yeah, so the idea, I mean, this, like I say, this is all your idea, wasn't it, Isaac, to be like, you know what, we should do a little Tale of Four Gamers to sort of see us into third edition, wasn't it?
As the person who was in the hobby wasteland compared to like milk and honey that you guys live in London.
You're like, right, because apparently nobody plays heresy in like Oxford anymore. Is that just not a thing?
Apparently too busy like farming and shit, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, we thought that would be... Well, you had a good idea of doing that, and it kind of then evolved from, well, are we just going to sort of do it within sort of the 4 of us? And then it went, do we sort of do it with the podcast? Because, when Nick and I kind of decide to record, it's kind of difficult to do Tale of Four Gamers because there's a very sort of obvious lacking visual element to it. So yeah, sort of here we are. We've all, because we've been ruminating on this for what, I don't know, a couple of months now, really, hasn't it? We were sort of thinking about it, like in the month leading up to.
Yeah. The edition hit and then passed over all of us, and we were kind of left drained by the experience. And now,
yeah, it was a rocky start, I think, to say the least. I think I'm definitely... We'll talk about this later, because obviously we've all played some games, or game, in Isaac's opinion. Isaac's position. And Faye and Nick have gone to an event. So I think at the end of this, we will sort of chat about how we're feeling about it all. But obviously, first we're going to go through sort of bits about us and the hobby in a bit more depth, what we're sort of doing, who we're... what forces of legions, etc. we're going to do, and then we'll go from there. I mean, hopefully, as the slide will say, everybody loves Ultramarines, and we are, spoiler alert, 50% Ultramarines so far in this Tale of Four Gamers. So maybe by the end of it, you might sort of decide to do some Ultramarines too. If you guys have ever fancied Ultramarines, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. No?
After like our 6-monthly, you beat me into the ground with your Ultramarines, and I go, yeah, okay, I'm done playing Matt for another 6 months. I ain't playing them anytime soon,
Yeah, that's fair. Faye, you don't fancy it? You're not seeing 13th,
I feel I maybe overexposed myself to Ultramarines with them, as I feel is true for literally everyone, and being my first 40k army. They just don't make Macragge blue anymore. I think that's...
They not?
I thought that was that not the colour that came in the little
Oh,
hexagon bottle?
It might be. Or was it just Ultramarines blue back then? I think it was. And then they changed it to Macragge blue, which is not the same paint. Yes, exactly. Point that. See, Nick, these heretics, they don't know anything about the pain of Ultramarines blue. They don't know once again, we always go over the tangent because this is what people love. Get the people what they want. I painted a unit of suzerain where somebody was like, oh, I want them, they were like Wolf's ones. It was like, oh, I want them to look like the Ultramarine, like GW scheme. I was like, oh, fair enough. So I have to do fucking edge highlights and that sort of stuff. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I was like, okay, I'll get the airbrush paint because they do Macragge blue in airbrush paint. And I'll get the standard pot as well for when I have to correct things. 2 different colours. Fantastic.
Jesus.
just shit. And yeah, it was awful. So won't be doing that again. Anyway, as the slide says, Taylor 4 gamers. There are 4 of us, and we are indeed gamers of the Horus Heresy.
We have credentials, right?
Yeah.
Tourists, right?
Yeah, we're not goddamn heresy tourists. And I think it'd be quite nice to sort of go through for us why we wanted to do it and the sort of obviously the vibe that we all want to go for, because I think we're all quite on the same page with this in terms of how we're approaching sort of style and the ideas behind the legions that we're doing. And I think obviously the people at home, they know about Nick and I. We've rambled on about hobby enough, so it'd be quite nice to perhaps Faye and Isaac to maybe sort of discuss why they want to do it, their sort of hobby journey, like how they've basically got here. So I mean, who wants to go first? It's like doing your school report, right?
Icebreaking shit. Okay.
Yeah, icebreaker. Yeah,
what's
an
truth
icebreaker?
and a lie, you know?
Yeah. One truth, one lie. Yeah.
Go first.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So I started this space army that if anyone has ever played against me, you will have seen. Back before Betrayal at Calth, and I picked it just because they had a plastic upgrade sprue. And I was like, great, I can make something that actually looks like the Legion they're supposed to be part of. And I've repainted that army 3 times. And only last year's Goonhammer was the first time I ever actually fielded a fully painted army of them. Over those almost 11 years this year. And so when you guys were like, should we do a slow grow? I thought, I actually really do need that accountability to actually paint.
Yeah,
accountability buddies. Yeah.
Paint your fucking models, like
Exactly. And it turns out that being harassed by my very dear friend Lloyd is not actually enough to get me over the line. So I'm going for a higher numerical.
Yeah. And you decided to, instead of doing those same space rules, just to do an entirely different army, which
exactly. Yeah. Totally correct.
No, that's what we like to hear. And like I said, there's no pressure. It's just nice and chill. You can paint those 5 Space Marines for as long as you want to.
They're going to be the best 5 Space Marines you've ever seen, but they will have taken a year to do.
Correct.
I mean, they're looking fantastic to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
And sort of obviously we'll go into what we're doing individually, but say sort of what's the sort of vibe that you're going for? Have you got like, was there a reason why you wanted to do sort of another project? Were you sort of looking to push things, or in terms of like painting stuff or like converting, etc.?
Yeah, kind of a bit of both actually. I after last year's Goonhammer doubles, left all my paints with Zach. Just left all of them up in Leicester, and so I couldn't paint anything. And thought to myself, gosh, this sure is a great excuse to try out all that lovely oil painting that Josh does on Omegon Edge. And so I bought a load of oil paint, started painting Infinity stuff with it, and then thought, yeah, sure, would love to do a Space Marine Legion actually using these, and so picked. I don't want to spoil.
Don't spoil it. Yeah, you picked a Legion.
But I sure have picked a Legion.
You sure have. That is a colour.
We can talk about what Legion we're doing, right?
Oh, we don't. Oh,
Come on.
no. Surely, are we doing a spoiler?
Otherwise, how am I going to be like, yeah, the reason I'm doing this is...
Yeah, actually, fair. You can say. Why did you want to do Thousand Suns?
I did Thousand Suns because I wanted to do the like cool multicolored blending that you can do with oil paints that you kind of get with metallics, but not doing. It sounds more and more masochistic the more I explain it, and very much it's increasingly pick me the more I discuss it, and that's ultimately why Thousand Suns.
So yeah, was it just purely, obviously, you'll know the lore about them or whatnot, but was it mainly for the red for the painting and the gold and white and stuff?
I think it's also partly just because I feel that it's a nice opposition to my army of over a decade.
Of course.
Is to paint the opposite side of the coin.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't, because I haven't read any of the. It's really bad. I've never read any of the Thousand Suns books.
Thousand Suns is a fucking good book.
Yeah, the closest I've got to it was listening to Scars, where obviously they're on Prospero for like an hour, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. There's that one cool Thousand Suns guy that's like, sup guys, and he's like, mind bulleting like space bugs and whatnot, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll go into more in terms of like how you sort of envision them sort of down the line when we discuss all of our bits and bobs. So Isaac, I mean, people who've listened to the podcasts, obviously Nick and I have referenced Isaac a few times. He is our print monkey first, and then friend second.
Actually, believable that you perceive it in that way, Matt.
yeah, it's good to be honest about these things. But no, Isaac is a very old friend of mine. Went to university together and we've been warhammering together for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, you've seen all 8 versions of my Thousand Suns colour scheme.
I have indeed, yeah.
When you were like, yeah, I've painted them like 3 times. I was like, rookie numbers, mate.
Yeah, rookie.
You haven't wasted like litres upon litres of Dettol,
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing back in the day.
Oh god, yeah, just coming into your room and it just like smelling of Dettol. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh yeah, Isaac's been stripping models again.
Using rattle cans in university halls, so everything's got like a slight tinge of like red.
Yeah, everything's got Mephiston red like particles.
It was one of those weird unis that had like, you had a roommate, not a housemate, you had a roommate. So like the roommate shit all being covered in red spray. Oh my, I'm sorry.
You were
David, I think your name was.
That 1 year. Yeah, that 1 year, yeah. Well, Isaac, obviously I didn't speak for you. Please tell the good people at home. Tell them about you. Tell them about your hobby. What do you like?
Well, what, that hobby now? Hobby for the games?
as in like heresy and then into.
Oh, yeah, all right. So like you said, Matt, we've been doing this for like probably 10-ish years now, right?
Yeah, probably a bit more than that, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer, because I think before uni, I was curious about the Thousand Suns. Read the book, loved it, wanted to do some more of them. Looked at, what was it, Bolter and Chainsword and Daka and all those forums.
Yeah.
Where they did absolutely like one stuff with like the like Cybor and Cromlech bits back in the day.
Oh jeez.
Massively oversized weapons. Like the shoulder pads that are just way too ornate for legionaries, but it's all done with like the best vibes ever, because everyone's just like, let's just do it. So I had a bit of that, and then you get loads of disposable income going to university. You end up wasting a lot of money on toy soldiers.
Oh yeah, student loan coming in, right?
Yeah.
Let me get to Forge World, bro.
Yeah, and a store manager who was very eager and very good at selling you toys, right? And then it just turned into like the entirety of university just getting ground into the dirt by Matt every now and again.
That is
with the occasional appearances from other people's armies, but Matt was like that's a lie. You were just the fucking Mechanicum army. It's just that I was, always one step ahead, or like a few seconds ahead. You've always managed to assimilate rules much faster and more comprehensively than I'd say the average person. So I think that's put you in good stead. And you're also always more up for playing games, just through sheer like exposure. You ended up, being the guy that everyone played Heresy with.
Yeah, because that was playing at the Isleworth Gaming Club. That was good fun. It's some good
Great
times
fun.
there. And then so for this, you, having done pretty much like every Legion, decided what Death Guard was the way to go.
Yeah, I think I was doing Flight of the Eisenstein. I was looking at some of the cover, and it just looks really cool. You've got in Flight of the Eisenstein, you've got Death Guard that aren't just one-trick ponies. They're not just the stinky boys. Like, they're kind of fun. They have a little bit of that kind of Torgoden like sense of humor about things, bit of a like gallows humor. And like the artwork of them, where they've got a bit of actual like ornamentation, so like roundels and braids and stuff on them. That looked really cool to me, so I thought I'd try and replicate that. Obviously inspired by like the Visions artwork, but from like a painting point of view, I wanted to kind of elevate my weathering and try and make it a little bit more purposeful. Because I'm definitely a sucker for just flicking random bits of like material at my model, hoping for the best.
No, I think and they are coming together really, really nicely. I think you can, especially with the weathering, you can tell that they are it's very, very purposely done. And I think that's quite nice. Next time, every time you do a new army, that's something I always like to do when I was sort of growing up, and it's like your sort of journey through the hobby is to every time you do a new army is to do something a bit different or do something better and try and improve something. So yeah, no, awesome. I mean, so the sort of vibe behind it all, it's like it's nice and chill. It's just every month or so we will do hopefully another episode where we'll just sort of check in, however much we've painted, and with the points we'll play like a game, hopefully some games together, take some pictures of that and talk about that and how we sort of enjoyed it, and say as Isaac mentioned, as for the people at home, like Visions of Heresy was sort of a big thing for us all in terms of like how we are sort of stylizing stuff. I mean, like you'll see with my Ultramarines, what I've done is for the helmets, they've all got that like Visions of Heresy helmets, which I really love. Nick's is all sort of like weird and like spooky and broken and they're pretty cool. Faye's like 5 Mark 6 Space Marines are looking fantastic in that real nice red from Visions. Oof, looking brilliant. So yeah, onto the next slide. So yeah, as I said, we're going to do it once a month. I think we'll try and sort of between the four of us, maybe if we, depending on how much traction, the sort of like 10 people that will watch this will be like, oh, this is a cool model, like certain models that people really like. Obviously they'll be on our like socials and whatnot, and then between the four of us we'll think, we really liked X model that somebody else has done, just to sort of like give somebody that hobby boost, because I think that's really important at the moment, because I think third edition has been so divisive. Even now, see, now we've got to a point where we've played some games and we're like, oh, we're getting past it, and kind of like that last stage of grief, right, where people are not hating it as much as they did when it first came out. I think it's nice to focus back on the hobby, rather than being like, God, this game is like X, Y, or Z, right?
Yeah, you got people who you've already got like so many really good like outlets for like the rules, the lore.
Yeah.
But I think with like the rise of guys like Power Fist and stuff, that's where you're getting into like the actual like hobby stuff, the painting of the toy soldiers and the playing and all of it mashed into one.
Yeah, I think I want this to be, it's just us chatting about Heresy, having a good time, talking about our thoughts about like say models and a bit about the game. But yeah, you might learn a bit, but there's not going to be much. It's just purely self-indulgent. So you have it on when you're making your dinner, or you're at work and you want our dulcet tones in your ears as you're working from home or something. And yeah, we'll see how often we do it. What we might do is we'll sort of incorporate some of the stuff that would have been in the podcast, as in like Nick and I talking about like events we've all gone to and stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Does that sound good to everyone? We all happy with that?
I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
And we've lucked out because the first set of like events we're all going to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. We're all going to Greetings in 3 weeks. Is it? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
3 weeks. Sure, it is 3 weeks. As I look at my Terminators that I haven't painted and my 20 Talon soldiers that have been airbrushed. It's gonna be fun. Just some honest men. Yeah, I look at them and I'm like, oh, I could just take some of my other humans and that'd be easier. But I'm like, oh, they're not on the same bases. Like, and my last night I was like, oh, fuck's sake, I've got to make my objective markers because I have my little like Emperor's Champion objective markers. I've got to fucking paint these as well. There's 6 of them. Anyway, that'd be fun. Cool. So, spoiler alert. These are the armies that we are doing. So Isaac is doing some Death Guard, maybe some Istvan 3 legions as a whole, maybe a bit of Emperor's Children, Lunar Wolves.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, at the rate these guys are actually getting done, I'm gonna have
you're like a prolific painter, so
yeah. I paint a lot, don't mean paint good,
Okay. Quantity is a quality all of its own, Isaac. Is that what they say, right?
Exactly.
So surprise Faye's doing some 1,000 suns. You could do all 1,000 of them, right? I assume is there any 1,000 of them? I don't know, maybe. Nick, some Ultramarines. You saw the light, didn't you?
Yep. I was surprised you haven't rubbed it in a bit more, but yes, I'm doing Ultramarines. But of course, with my own bit of a twist on them, which has actually had Matt's approval. I haven't had Matt sending me belligerent messages being like, Nick, you're ruining them. So I'm quite pleased. That's an achievement in itself.
Maybe it's my own personal growth, Nick. It could be that.
Hold on.
I don't believe that.
We've had at least one not in my 500 worlds, haven't we?
maybe one, maybe something. I don't know. I couldn't possibly tell you. Hey,
like,
it's more
to Ultramarines players. Like, I don't see many repeats in like color scheme, lore, and style.
Yeah,
like you guys have gone completely different directions. Right?
Yeah, you will. I think it's one. It's like the nature of the color blue, right? There are just so many different like shades, tones of it. Like Nick, I don't know how. I can't remember. So I've sort of blocked it all from my mind when I was trying to figure out my blue for the Ultramarines. But I can't remember. You were banging your head against the wall about it as well, weren't you? In terms of what you wanted.
I did a couple of tester models, and I was like trying different blends and mixes and writing notes, and then scribbling it out. And like you get to a certain stage, and like, oh, this is going all really well, and then suddenly you'd be like, oh, this is terrible. This is horrible. What have I done?
I think it's just one of those colours. I think it's a tricky primary colour to work with. And I remember having spoken to someone, I was like, try because I wanted something sort of, richer and vibrant, but not mega saturated. I was like, try one of the Chimera blues. They're quite good. Tried that colour. I don't know if it was fucked or what, but immediately frosted. I was done. I almost had like a breakdown. Like, it was awful. Like so many nights hunched over my airbrush, like spraying blue, and my wife being like, "You're gonna come to bed now?" And I'm like, "No, I'm in the blue mines." Like
my Zima blue.
Oh yeah, my Zima blue. Should have just turned into a little robot and cleaned a pool for eternity. It would be better. Yeah. So there were, but yes. So I am obviously doing some Ultramarines. I hopefully would quite like to do some, say, Imperium Secundus stuff. So, having, let's say, listened to Scars recently, I would quite like to do some. There's like a few white scars that are Imperium Secundus, which would be quite cool. I've got a lot of Mark II, so that'd be quite fun. But yeah, we'll see. See how it goes. See how it evolves. So yes, I will start off with myself, and then we'll move on, because this is how apparently the slides have taken us. So my inspiration. So I really like the Visions of Heresy helmet. That's sort of how they then kind of changed it to be the sort of Praetorian one in that the kit they did, that was had like the little eagle-y sort of like face on it. But yeah, there's a 3D print. I think is it Legion XVI?
Legion,
yeah,
14 guy, yeah.
14 guy, yeah, before he got GW'd. I wanted that helmet because it's just fantastic. In my previous, because this is my second iteration of Ultramarines, in my previous one, I had a few of them. I think I had some like Inducti that had this helmet. So I was like, no, this time I want them all with it. So far, I've managed to get every Marine with the thanks to Isaac's very hard work of just printing out lists of these heads. So they all have it. And I think I wanted something, because sometimes you can obviously lean into like the real Roman thing, which is nice to an extent. But I kind of wanted them to look a bit more 4th or 5th edition, like 40k. Where there's more like a lot of transfers on them, so a lot of checks, lots of like sort of weird personal iconography to make them look more like each guy kind of looks like an individual, like he's taking care of doing his armor, and some sort of scripture on there. Because the original plan was they are 6th Company, so Iron Snakes. I've got some Iron Snake stuff on there, a bit more like Greek influence. I was going to do them that they weren't sort of fresh out of the factory with like some weird like esoteric tanks. So I've got a Minotaur that I need to paint, and I've got some weird tanks that could be Predators, some like Mortian ones, which I'd quite like to have a go at when like the rush of 3rd edition kind of calms down, when you're like, oh shit, it's the event, or don't know what to do, or I don't know what to paint, XYZ, that you all kind of get, and you just end up paying loads and loads and loads of models. And then like I've painted like there's 2 or 3 extra squads that I've fully painted and based that I'm not taking to greetings, which is a bit like I'm kind of banging my head, like it feels like wasted time, but we'll see. So yeah, and like with the sort of Fulmentaris, when the rules came out, I was like, look, if we get them or not, I want to do, for you veterans of the Long War, or not Long War, veterans of the Unification Wars at home will know that in 1st edition Heresy you could take Fulmentaris with autocannons, which sadly died a death in 2nd. And I was like, if they have them or they don't, I want to model them with autocannons. And lo and behold, we get the Tyrants, the Siege Tartarus squad. So I do also have, not that you'll be able to see on the screens, but I have my autocannon Tartarus squad that I'm painting up at the moment. So this is sort of what I've done so far. As you'll sort of be able to see at home, I've done more than this, but this is what I wanted to show out. So I wanted to like really break the back of the infantry, because I painted the majority of this before the edition, like 3rd edition came out. I was like, right, I've got to get it done. I've got to get them, just because then I can play events, because you always need your infantry, because you're like, I don't know what to take, I don't know what's going to be legal, and especially all the ups and downs of it all. I was kind of like, I don't want to start X, we're not be able to use it. So yeah, I've got got a little boxy there, which thankfully we now have rules. Say just like 40, 55, 60 dudes. Just I wanted those really big tactical squads that are now in Rhinos. And
you've given them the sick night shift bases, right?
Yeah. So this will be a fun one. So any connoisseurs of military modelling at home will know Night Shift. Fantastic like hobby YouTuber that does like military modelling, and these bases. I was like, I want to do something a bit different, rather than necessarily just like the sort of pigment, like, and the basing goop and pigment. So yeah, this was something he did for like some sort of World War II diorama of like a American or German tank or something. And yeah, I went around, like when I was going to because my wife's mum or mother-in-law, I guess, who lives in the countryside, so I like a right weirdo while we were going on walks, like collecting all this dead grass so I've like got like dead grass and like chopped it all up, and I've got these bags of it like they sprinkle on, and it's like all enamels and a little bit of pigments and stuff, which is really fun. But then when they have to make like 50 bases and they're all handmade, it's like, why have I done this to myself? But I'm quite happy with how they've turned out. They're
The little
They're a
like
bit,
smouldering brass effect on the dreadnought looks really, really good.
Mm.
yeah, I wanted something a bit just something kind of contrasted with the blue quite nicely, and wasn't like difficult to paint. Like it's just a bit of airbrush work, and you just slap in enamels on. And it is quite fun to. I'm there with like I went to I think like a Halfords or something. I don't know where it was, some DIY shop, finding a big brush that I could use that was the right like thickness of hair to make like stalks of grass coming out of the bases. So I now have this really big like fence painting brush that was just about right, which was such like looking at it, pretending it's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely looking at these brushes for like, you know, X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, I want them for my toys, which is it was quite funny. But yeah, I mean, this is the vibe I'm going for. I mean, I've tried to like look at the color plates as well. So like my apothecaries, there's a apothecary in, I don't know if it's in the new book, it's definitely in the black book, where he's got like white arms and legs and a blue body, and I've tried to do them all with the Iron Snakes iconography. For those that you've read that Dan Abnett Space Marine book from like the early 2000s, because they're all about apothecaries in 40k, and like Sword Damocles, their commander is in the Atkalth, which was quite cool. So I need to make a model for him. But in terms of the direction of where I'm going to go from here, I mean, I've painted like 3,000 points, more than 3,000 points. So I think now I've got that core, I'm just going to go crazy and just paint whatever I want to, whatever I think looks kind of cool. I'd quite like to do some veteran breaches maybe going forward, with when we get those circular shields that the Mark II dudes have, I think. Is it the
Yeah.
Really cool, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought they'd look quite cool for some like Greek looking dudes. And then like some suzerain as well, which I've made some sort of more interesting heads, but I'll save that for a later date. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Ultramarines, yeah, second time round, and I think I prefer this more than my previous one. Because I've sold them all, they've all gone now, and so when Nick and I went to go play some games with Mr. William Henry of the Merchant Princelings, we went to go play some 3rd edition a couple of weeks back, and he bought some of my Ultramarines, and I thought, damn, yeah, this is a completely different scheme. It's much darker, more saturated, and I kind of wanted to go back to that kind of more early Heresy, where it's a very flat, it's a vibrant colour, but it's a very flat colour, where you can then see all the weathering on it, and you can see all like the streaks, like the subtle streaks and the subtle weathering that when you're then playing on a game table you can't see from like 4 foot away, and you're like, oh, I'm glad I did this right. Yeah, I think it was the seeing Full Circle Hobby Adam, his salamanders that he's been doing, they're just unbelievable, and like the glaive that he's done, and I was like, wow, this is just like next level hobby, and like that almost like military model sort of style that I really wanted to sort of, you know, try and embrace, and it's been a lot of fun. And we'll see where it goes and see how it evolves as second edition, fucking hell, 3rd edition. Like, I know, right? God, that's cope, isn't it?
You're so eager moving between
copium.
editions now.
Yeah, well, I am playing the 2 editions at once. I'm playing.
We've only got 2.5 years left until the next edition.
Oh,
right?
Oh God, yeah.
I think we've actually on the next slide. There's some close-ups of your guys.
Oh, is there?
Really
Yeah, there are. Yeah, here we go.
Doing justice to the amount of effort that you've put into them.
Yeah, so on these pickies, yeah, we've got some tactical marines. Like I said, it's little bits. Like the transfer stage can take quite a bit of time, because I've just got like like an A4 little holder where all my Ultramarines transfers are in there, and searching through for various bits. I took a lot of inspiration, so credit where credit's due, from, I think it's an Australian, the Australian hobbyist, Prairies.
Oh, their Ultramarines is great.
Yeah. I took a lot of inspiration from their like transfer placement, and like what they've used for like placements and where things go on the body and stuff, and the little like yellow stripe on the bolt gun. It's like I always go to them when I'm like, okay, right, I need a bit of an idea, because they use some really cool sort of weird and wacky transfers in places like the one on the Sergeant, where it's like a little like diamond. That's just like a random one from wherever, and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun making these, and it's just like little pops of something, little pops of interest where it's a transfer. It doesn't take long to put on, but I think it really sort of elevates the interest of the model when you're looking at them up close anyway. So moving on, that's enough of me talking, because I'm always very conscious that I talk too much. Nick, the second double bubble Ultramarines, more Ultramarines, but Conan the Barbarian.
Yep, very much so. Well, I always like to do like a spin on like Legion armies, so everyone knows, yes, I'm the Black Shield guy, but I thought, you know what, I'm not going to wait around to whenever GW drops Black Shield rules, and Matt has been nagging me to do Ultramarines for ages and ages, and I thought, okay, how can I make them sort of really interesting to me? And what I find most interesting about the Ultramarines is it's 500 worlds. They have this huge cultural base to kind of recruit from. So actually, yes, they have a kind of an overarching template that ties them together, but the recruiting worlds are all very different. So if you've got a company or something recruited from one world, of course they're going to have those little notes. And I thought, okay, I'm a big fan of like sword and sorcery and Conan the Barbarian. So I just thought, what about kind of like, and there's all those like Roman history of using barbarian auxiliaries and things like that. And I was like, well, what if I lean into that? I love the Visions artwork, so go for a bit more techno barbarian vibe. And I kind of went for a theme of like a company where they're the kind of not a very well regarded company because they come from the slightly barbaric world, and they're a bit sort of still cling to some superstitions and things like that. So it's been really fun to explore, and that's just the kind of really gist of it. I'm kind of following in the footsteps of the master. I'm being nice to Matt for once, and but it is like I do occasionally when I'm going through the Ultramarines, I'm like, okay, what's Matt up to and things like that. But it's been really fun to kind of explore the theme, and actually people seem to resonate with it. People seem to really like the kind of the tact I'm going with, so I'm really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, because how have they? Because obviously you did your ultras. Let's say ultras. They were Black Shields, but they were like Ultramarine sort of like to begin, like sort of primogenitory sort of stuff originally, right? Am I getting?
Yes.
Yeah. So how have you found it sort of being slightly more like grounded in a Legion rather than and having that sort of structure rather than it just being go crazy and it's all working from the ground up?
Well, I find what's fun with a Legion is actually you can make very little changes, like small changes to squads, and it makes a huge difference. That actually, because it does make your army stand out. Like my suzerain are very different to everyone else's suzerain because of some wonderful printing that Faye has done for me, and some and like my tactical marines are very different to other Ultramarines tactical marines. Like I use a head that I sort of helped to design with a Legio X IV guy that Isaac very kindly printed a load of for me. So it's actually been really fun because you can make units people stop and go, hey, okay, yeah, I know what the unit is, but what have you done here?
No, that's I feel if we move on, I should be able to. Yeah. Speaking of, here we are, some glorious Ultramarines.
Yep. It's been a really fun learning experience. I quite like leaning into the impressionistic painting style. I'm really enjoying it. I use a lot of inks, so mine is like my blue starts off as like a 50-50 mix of Night Lord's blue and some lovely what's the ink brand I'm using? I think it's Dela Round.
Yeah.
Dela Rowney acrylic turquoise ink. So on its own, the turquoise is quite bright, but when you kind of glaze it, I use some oil. I use some like royal Prussian blue oil and things like that. And I just kind of do lean into the brushstroke vibe for them. And I've just really enjoyed painting them. And it's been really fun to kind of do my conversions. Like I'm very proud of that Centurion.
Yeah, he's very cool.
Fuck Gal Vorback. I had to do it. I had a spare Gal Vorback head. Everyone hates Gal Vorback.
Yeah, fuck
yep. Yeah, and then my tactical squad I'm very proud of, and then the Saturnine as well. I really, really liked. I leaned into a bit more of like the industrial vibes, like utilitarian kind of vibe for the Saturnine.
And so did you have a vision in terms of what you wanted how the army like to work, or is in terms of, obviously, you've got your idea of your fluff, who they are, but in terms of then building the army and how you wanted that fluff represented on the board?
I quite wanted like a mid-range aggressive army. Like if I wanted to play long-range aggressive, I just play the 2 vanilla legions of Heresy, Iron Warriors, or Imperial Fists. So, oh, come on, guys, you know it to be true.
Yeah, it's true.
And there's some really interesting units like the Saturnine Dreadnought, which I absolutely love. Is very mid-range. Tactical squads are very mid-range, and you can supplement it with a couple of like long-range stuff. But it's quite fun playing quite aggressive. And like my last army leaned in very heavily into assault, and this is a bit more shooty, and I'm actually really enjoying that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and yeah, the obviously mini's looking great, base is looking great. See, worth noting, unlike me, you're not scared of freehanding. All of your things, they're all freehanded. There's no transfers, are there, on any of your guys?
No transfers at all. So it's just something I really, really enjoy. And again, it's like something when you were talking about, like I like adding little marks to them, and like the company, they're the 113th company, so they've all got the marks there. The white checks just look really, really good. And then the occasional like a little symbol or like iconography that ties back to some area is just really fun to do.
I'm looking forward to seeing seeing it all on the table for greetings. I think it's going to look fantastic. And do you know where you sort of want to go with it going forward in terms of?
So I'm very excited. I have managed to procure a glaive. So that's my next big project, I think, post greetings, is I want to do a glaive, and I really want to kind of lean in and like do some kind of proper, not quite scale modeling like level, but like kind of try and work on like such a big canvas and add those like details, because there's this lovely, like there's a couple of like color plates in the old black books where you get like a super heavy and it's got a little bit of fluff about it. I think my favorite one is like it's a falchion or like a fell blade that the Disciples of Flame take on Mazoa, and it's like such a cool piece of like color plate, and it's so like custom, and I was like, I really want to kind of do that and just try something a bit different, and also just push myself with some more tanks and things like that.
Yeah, I love painting tanks. I don't know about the rest of the good people.
The tanks are just a breath of fresh air after doing like 20 tactical marines or something,
It's like done in like a day. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I mean, sorry, Faye, I don't want to trigger you. Yeah, sorry. It's done in a time that is faster than a Space Marine squad. No, Nick, I'm very, very excited to see more of your boys, and welcome to the winning side. It must feel good, right?
It feels good. It feels good.
It feels good. And sorry, I'm just admiring your the Sat9. Such good little grabby claws. Very cool.
So,
I love those claws. Those claws.
With your army, Nick, the glaives could be like the centerpiece, right? Matt, have you got a centerpiece?
I've got a Fellblade.
It's a bit.
Yeah, I've got a Fellblade, which I need to get done. I was planning on doing it for greetings, but I didn't want to rush it, and I think I was sort of gaming sort of side of me was because it's so expensive. I was like, because it's like 650 points, something like that. I was like, it's a massive chunk of your army, because I think originally greetings was going to be like 250, I think it was.
3.5, I think.
Or 3.5.
Yeah.
So 3.5, and they've put it down to 3. Fair enough, because people are getting ready for stuff. And I was like, shit, that's like, a third of, well, not a third, but like a massive chunk of my army. And I was like, well, I don't know I didn't know how to play the game. I still really don't really know that well how to play it. And having such a big thing meant I was really restricted on what else I could take. So I was sort of struggling a bit with that, and I didn't want to rush painting it either, because I didn't have long to do it, and it's such a lovely model that I really want to take it as that hobby project. I mean, I've got my Cerberus. That's quite a big. No, it's not really that big, is it? It's like the size of a Spartan. But it is cool, and it might kill itself, which is fun.
It does seem
when
to
it
be the
does.
gambler's tank.
Yeah. I mean, do I have a Forge Lord nearby to fix him up? Maybe. Maybe he'll be doing that. I've never been very good at doing well, I've never been a big fan of like the big centerpiece ones. Maybe I'll do a couple of my couple of Minotaurs, get another Minotaur and do that. That'd be cool. Even though you can't take the Legion Minotaurs anymore, they'll have to be like Arquiters with the
Allied
Morbus.
logistical benefit sort of thing. I don't know.
I don't think I think you could do, I suppose, humans, right? You could do, we'll see. We'll see how it goes in the future with my...
We get to see what Nick's interpretation of a glaive looks like.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be weird, isn't it? It's gonna be some weird shit going on there.
There's gonna be like Eldar tech on there somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh no, this no Black Shield stuff. It's gonna be, it's gonna have some interesting stuff on it though.
It's gonna have some fucking like pulse laser or some shit on top of it, isn't it? Like
Yeah. Disco ball.
Yeah, disco ball. Yeah. Aha, Isaac.
Well, I've already alluded to that. A lot of my stuff's based on the Horus Heresy and like the Eisenstein. So you end up with these like really brutal, weird-looking units. You end up with like dudes in Mark III armor with jetpacks, the ultimate boo.
Yep.
Like the one thing that apparently is unbelievable in a fantasy sci-fi. Big dudes with jump packs. The old style dreadnoughts, when they were like, we don't know what a dreadnought really looks like, but we'll pay a bunch of artists and see their interpretation of it. Absolutely love those guys. And obviously, the kind of the bulbous plasma gun of the Death Guard.
Yeah.
The pickle Haub pointy hat one helmets. Love them.
Very good vibes.
Unwittingly, the theme of all of our armies, or at least all of the bits that we've chosen for armies, is all Legion 14 guys stuff.
Yeah.
I think we've all got elements of it without realising it.
Literally.
Conscious effort.
Yeah, literally. Whenever I put anything on, if I put something on Instagram, somebody will be like, like, where are those heads from? And immediately, like, he will appear in the comments and be like, it's mine.
His STLs have captured that vision perfectly,
You've seen the sorry to interrupt. You've seen the chainmail one where they're like the soft armor is replaced with chainmail, and I'm just like, I was talking with Faye on the way back from Goonhammer, and I was just like, oh, that is incredibly just like me coded right now. And I was like, Isaac, have you got it? And he's like, of course I fucking got it.
I immediately, upon seeing that, I was like, yeah, that's just like the easiest purchase in the world. Like, dudes with chainmail, like, I want that.
I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to have a look at it.
It's the perfect like Heresy era scout armor. It's really,
cool.
really, really good. I'm gonna do some Death Guard scouts.
You can add the armor plates for like and make it more power armor on top as well, and it's like, because he's designed it, that it just looks so good.
I'm glad we only ever buy like files in dribs and drabs, because I don't want to see how much I've spent over the years. If they just put it all together in one big file of how much I've spent, it's like,
Mate,
god.
I haven't even got a 3D printer, and I'm like, I need to buy a fucking external hard drive to put all my files on that I've got. Like,
it's a slow, insidious poison that just before you know it, you've got.
Yeah. Let's some toys.
Yeah.
Look at those toys. Ooh.
So these were my first batch. I've since like worked out a scheme that I like more. Refined it. I guess it's refining it. But this was all Raptor Imperialis's scheme.
Mm-hmm.
That's on Instagram. It's a really, really, like, for ease of doing it versus effective outcome. It's up there. It strikes that note between the kind of pristine, clean Flight of the Eisenstein with what everyone associates Death Guard to be, which is like beige, stinky boys.
Mm-hmm. Like they've been through the ringer, right? These are not.
Yeah.
Fresh.
But they've maybe like hosed down their tank at some point rather than just allowing it to kind of like accumulate.
Yeah,
They
they're not
couldn't
full.
afford a jet wash though. It was
Yeah.
just it was standard car wash.
They're not.
Yeah, the chapter on the Legion serfs were just like took a sponge to it.
Yeah, they're not
There
full
with a
sloppy.
squeegee.
Yeah, not sloppy bar piper yet. They're just.
And the bases, I chose the bases because in my head these are all like Istvan 3 surviving. Oh wow, they're on Istvan 3. Whether or not they survive is these guys are dead. Yeah, by Istvan 5, these guys are dead. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can't play. That's a shame. Actually, none of us can play.
We'll just assume that I win
Yes.
those games that we don't play.
Yeah.
But it did give me a chance to do some like really contrasting bases with the kind of the clean base versus the dirty dudes, which I know, Matt, I have added some weathering to them since.
Thank you.
Just so they feel more in place, as you say.
Look, faces and faces. Those are the rules,
exactly.
right?
I've also tried to elevate my masking game and elevate my use of transfers, like your guy. Lots of like little transfers here and there. So all the tanks now, since doing these guys, they've got like battle honors. They'll have like little scripts that maybe describe a act of compliance that they took part in, something like that, you know.
Yeah, I really like. I like. You should be able to see my. You might be able to see my mouse. Yeah, this here is nice. I like this little arrow that you've put on the top of the rhino is.
Oh yeah, you can see in the blur in the background as well. You can see the citation, like.
Yeah, that.
Oh
yeah, but down here as well. This is what I like. Also, the Heresy 3rd edition pattern Havoc launcher. We all have to make sure we don't leave home without those.
All my tanks are now magnetized for the possibility of having Havocs.
I thought you had them on there before we knew the rules for them, right?
Oh no, that's all my Thousand Suns stuff. I'll be open about that. All my Thousand Suns stuff I had before, they just happened to work out all right. These guys, I was like, yeah, I'm getting some fucking Havocs on there. I need something to cause some status. I'm taking plasma for God's sake, you know?
That's fair. I actually had a tank that had one still. I stripped one of my old Scorpius tanks into my old Ultramarine scheme, and I built and stuck on a Havoc launcher, and I was like, God, look at me being all smart. But yeah, so Isaac, in terms of like, what did you sort of envision? Obviously, you envisioned the vibe, but in terms of like how you wanted the dudes to play on the, obviously I say play, we didn't really know obviously what to expect, but
no.
Do you know how you wanted your dudes to play? Like what you wanted to experience when you, or like what I'd like to think of it is sometimes is what you wanted your opponent to experience when you put these boys on the field?
Yeah. I think you're applying a level of empathy I did not apply. Like, I just went with what would a bunch of loyalist Death Guard end up being equipped with? So I got really almost like obsessively. So like, I'd be going for like an evening run or something. I'd be going through the lore head to try and make up like a continuous story about it. God, this is really showing my power level here.
But you're too powerful, Isaac.
But I loved the idea of just like a void breaching team being lumped in with like a bunch of random tacticals, and they're still in their void breaching because they've just been chosen. So they were chosen by squad to go down there rather than by like company or chapter or anything.
Yeah.
To help weed out the people. So there's these guys being like, why the hell are we being sent here for like round of? Yeah, they've got like Anvilus pattern jump packs. They're fully ready to like cross like from ship to ship, and they're slogging through the mud. It's just that kind of those first seeds of like, okay, something's not right here. Why are we being?
I think
I'm
that's
in
really cool.
danger.
Yeah, the I'm in danger meme. That was the vibe. So I didn't really think about how they play on the table, except for like minor choices like the Havoc, like having Havocs, like a couple of like good tanks, you know, because AV-14 is pretty solid. But beyond that, it was just more the aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really
like
cool.
Slightly fancier looking Death Guard, but it's still very functional, very utilitarian. They're not Blood Angels, but they aren't like a blank slate.
Yeah, I think that, you know, thinking about why they are and making you know, your army basing them in a little bit of an amount of fluff, and then going from there and thinking, oh well, these dudes would have these, like backpacks because it's all very ad hoc. Like it's I think you can make really fun army lists. Like I've done it before. I did it with the Ultramarines first time round. Like it's and I think then being like, oh well, I'm not going to run any of X unit because they all died in the last game, and this is what's left. And I think is a really cool way to play. And I think I'd quite like to sort of do that with mine. I need to go deep into the depths of Sixth Company. But no, have we got any more pictures of yours, Isaac? Let me have a look.
Oh,
we do. Oh yes, we do. Oh yes,
so obviously the Kratos, you gotta have a Kratos, the Wolf pattern Kratos.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. I'm not a big fan of the OG Kratos, but his version with Legio 14 guys models with like leather gloves on and stuff. Oh, peak heresy.
So good.
No practical reason for these leather gloves, but they got them. And then the Contemptor, the old style Contemptor. I think I've done one of these style of Contemptors for every pretty much.
It's
every legion.
It's what's his face, right? Is him, right? The one that dies in the bunker with his bro.
Huron File.
Yeah.
He is loaded up like Huron File, but I did not have the emotional strength to be able to make a Huron File Elastometa diorama.
You've got to. You can have your Iron Giant Superman moment.
As you are who you used to be.
Yeah.
God, Vin Diesel. Anyway.
No, I love the tank is great. I love the tank. Love once again the weathering looks fantastic. The masking work up there. It's difficult to get that level of straight line up a whole tank.
Yeah. And the thing is also if you get the lines perfectly parallel, it actually creates an illusion where they actually start to look like they're going towards each other. But it's entirely an optical illusion where you just have two parallel lines they start to
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But I was really happy about it turned out. And your magic trick for the tracks of just chucking thinner and then 3 different pigment powders on.
Yeah. The OG. That's cool.
To do the right, I think on his like chest bit you can see a little bit my attempt to be a little bit more considered and deliberate in my like streaking and stuff, which is something I work on for these guys.
No, it's looking sick. And say gloves. Gloves are cool. I'm not having anybody say that. There's no way. Have we got any more? Let's have a look.
Yeah.
We do. Oh, of course.
This is where you just see the scale of like the madness of
Yeah. So because we did this. These pictures have been put on for quite a while, haven't they? Just because obviously life has gotten in the way of us recording. And I've painted. Nick has painted more. I've painted more. We have not put them on. Sorry, Faye's not painting anymore. Yeah, this is all of your bulbous turbine bros, which look fantastic.
The keg pattern jump packs. It's that artwork that from the inspiration thing that I think and it's got them with like these like butcher's cleavers of like chainswords, and then these stupid, ridiculous jump packs that you just gotta love. I just had to do it. I had to make it happen.
They're very cool, and I love the that sort of everything's very brutal, but then you have the like imperialist, like the Vexilla and all the scripture and stuff. Like it's a real cool contrast.
Can't even take Vexillas on an assault squad apparently in this day and age. You can on a support squad though, or a heavy support squad, but
it can't carry flags, mate, in the sky. Too heavy.
No. Get caught on something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, get caught, mate. That guy's crest, mate. His turbine's gonna fire up, and he's gonna break his neck.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No capes.
No capes.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick.
Yeah. Edna it. No capes. No, it's very cool.
This is kind of my least Death Guard unit currently. I'm going to do some Outriders and some Scouts, I think. Just because I really like the idea of like Mortarion being like, yeah, I'm going to send those guys down just because I don't think we need Scout elements anymore. It's like exactly. They're like, it doesn't fit our doctrine at all. Let's just get rid of them. rather than them having any particular loyalties one with another.
Well, you've got that, like, some really cool bits of Visions artwork, right, where there's of bikers going through the gloom of Istvan, right? I always thought that was really cool, with their lights on.
There's also a specific one of a Death Guard Melter Outrider. And it's like,
Is there?
Riders, they don't exist.
They don't exist. Fuck.
Yeah, Melter Outriders. You can buy the models, but you can't. You can't have them in game.
Is it just plasma? Oh god.
And the plasmas are 15 points a plasma.
Why?
Points per plasma.
That's a lot of dude. Oh, fuck. That's a lot of points per dude. Oh. Anyway. Oh, that's it. Okay, go back. Oh wait. Isaac, do you have any closing thoughts before?
My centerpiece is probably going to be a Thunderhawk.
Really?
Like a really like battered to fuck Thunderhawk that's like their escape vehicle.
That's cool. Did not expect that.
Yeah.
Are you leaning to obviously just doing any other Istvan Bros? Like, if you were going to do any more Istvan Bros, would you do?
Oh, yeah.
Which would you do?
I think we said I'd definitely do some Emperor's Children because I really like they're really brutalist Istvan vibes from Visions. And probably some World Eaters just for that single, I think it's like a single sentence, maybe two at most, about the glee the loyalist World Eaters have at being able to fight their dad.
Yeah.
So like, shout out to anyone, with daddy issues, the loyalist World Eater's got you covered.
Yeah. And there's that really cool dude who's like the sergeant, who's the head taker, whatever his name is.
Yeah, it's not Varen. Shabrandar?
Yeah, Shabrandar.
Yeah, white eyes, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
God, those early books are so good.
They are so good.
Ozymandias, it's just all that's left is just this single statue, like crumpled bit of statue. Ugh.
That's why I bought them. So I bought the first three, man. Best books.
Yeah.
It was worth it. Worth every penny. No, awesome. I'm very excited how you're Stinky Boys, and it makes me want to do an Istvan, some Istvan Boys just to play against you. But
I mean, Istvan 3 is the best Istvan, in my opinion.
I think it's the best Istvan. It's the most tragic Istvan, I think.
Yeah.
Like, on the actual thing, it's fuck it. So we already know what's going to happen. It's all, we know what happens here. We know people die and shit, right?
Hey, they lasted 6 months. They lasted as long as the Siege of Terror.
Yeah, that's shit.
Speaking of the Emperor's Children, that one of my favourite pieces of Heresy Hammer, not the Heresy Hammer, bloody hell, the Visions of Heresy art is the one, with the Loyalist Emperor's Children over the wrecked Sons of Horus Rhino, where they're like holding up the flag.
Yeah.
Like, so good.
That is worthy of a diorama, I think. That is so good.
And the Sons of Horus
are that flag?
They're all splayed out of the Rhino.
What are they doing with that flag? What are they doing with that? Right.
Love it. Yeah. There's some really good Emperor's Children. Like, even their last cannons, like squads and stuff.
Oh.
Their last cannons, they're little tight, like little. Oh, man.
They've got the cool purple deodorant land speeder as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's OG.
It is OG, but I don't think it's aged as well when people put them on the tabletop.
I don't think it has
No.
necessarily. It's a bit, it's a bit, because it is fucking deodorant cannon, it like it's just like a shampoo bowl. But the Thunderhawk is fucking cool. Not many people are brave enough for a Thunderhawk.
It'll probably never see the table. It's gonna be like my Crassus, my Iron Hands. It's never gonna see the table.
Oh, one time.
Yeah.
One time it will come out, you get cheated against, and then you put it away. Anyway, right. How's that? Speaking of
That was my Emperor's Children army, actually, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that, Space Wolves.
So, God, I love this slide. I think Isaac put this together shortly
Maybe.
before
I don't know.
the original
We can't track
recording.
changes, so...
Shortly before the original recording slot. I think part of this is the Paw Patrol to trigger me for calling it propaganda, And then I want to, I want to. The Viking dog is obvious. That is a hero of the Legion, but I want to say the wizard and particularly the wizard.
It's for 1,000 Suns, right?
Exactly, is a level of debauchery you can only find among 1,000 Suns. This is not my inspiration. I want to make very clear.
Is there another slide actually with your inspiration?
No.
There is not. There's only your models.
I had no idea what your inspiration was at the time. This was apparently such a timeless, accurate slide. It hasn't been edited since, so...
It scans pretty well.
I mean, what really was it? Yeah, what was the... Obviously, we know about the painting side, but in terms of, the actual... The boys, the dudes, the 1,000 hard bodies,
I've read... I think I read Thousand Suns first, and then Prospero Burns, which is then ironic that I ended up choosing Space Wars of the two of them after doing it in that order. And part of what really... And I've ranted multiple times to Isaac about this as a fellow Thousand Suns aficionado, that it seems really weird to me that a lot of the Thousand Suns are cool with Mags after everything. that after he basically had his little pity party in Tizca and just lowered all the orbital defenses, told no one that people were coming, and shipped a load of the Legion off to goodness knows where, that they're cool with him. And so I wanted some Thousand Suns that were not cool with him. And yeah, I wanted to go for more of a, like, obviously they're not fans of the Imperium. They really don't like the Imperium at all. But that kind of align more strongly with Horus than they do with Magnus at all. And probably actually would quite readily fight Magnus if they could. So yeah, it's kind of going for that classic Thousand Sun Hermetic Order vibes, which I've spoken to Nick a huge amount about, of us chatting about the various Hermetic Orders and how it's very fun reading about Victorians cosplaying as wizards seeking the ultimate truth, and that they thought that was Egypt.
Aleister Crowley stuff, right?
Yeah. But part of that is that it came from like a sort of fun Grecian cult, so I'm definitely putting a little bit of Ptolemaic vibe in there as well, for sure. So yeah, a whole mixture of various vibes is what I'm going for here. Beautifully illustrated by this slide, I feel.
Yeah, I think it pretty much, that's what I got when, like, Ptolemaic vibes and Victorians. I think that's exactly what I got from these 4 images. So actually it took you, we can actually look at how these are manifesting.
Yes.
Here we go. Here are some Space Marines.
Yeah, so I was one of the people who was hunched over eBay trying to get Mark II tacticals as the box came out, and I somehow managed to snag like 20 of them for 20 quid. Early as well, which I've totally squandered in any kind of advantage there. And yeah, very much a couple of printed bits. I think these might be Legio 14 heads, but I can't say for sure. And yeah, definitely I've realised that an autocannon heavy support squad in Thousand Suns may send a certain message. Really, it's just because I wanted something that was a clear link to Sons of Horus. I went for that very, like, 3rd edition Havoc vibe, especially with the bayonet, because I think the bayonet is essential to an autocannon functioning correctly. And then, yeah, this sort of grandeur, almost success that I wanted to go for with my first Centurion, that I thought captured that slight Grecian edge a little bit.
It's very cool. I like this model is very, very cool. I remember we were all chatting about this, weren't we, of like, how do we make this cool Emperor's Children model work by press molding and cutting and chopping, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's been
What cult is he going to be?
That's a great question. I haven't
It gives me Pavoni vibes, because they're kind of like Emperor's.
Yeah, he's kind of like, got sort of fiery motifs on from the filigree, so I think you're probably right there, that he will probably be Pyre.
I was thinking Pavoni, because they're like the more prideful, like, appearance-based guys, right?
Yeah, particularly on the abdominals, the real muscles forming up there that you can see on this.
Could you describe them as gutters?
I could, but I won't.
But you can't. Yeah.
And then a quick test model, which I think I've already deviated from because this came out a bit dusty. I think I made it a bit too pink instead of using sort of ice yellow as my upper one. But that's kind of the vibe. Is that red, white, black, classic alchemic colours.
Yeah. Because it's all so you do a base with acrylics and everything else is on the armors is oils, right?
Yeah, correct. So it's a red prime, and then everything other than the metallics is oil painting. As I said, inspired by the beautiful stuff from Omegon Edge.
No, it's looking. I mean, how you have the patience to do this, I do not know. It's impressive. Maybe it's that when we end up playing games. I mean, maybe it'll be a weird mishmash between Thousand Suns and Space Souls. Maybe I don't know.
Timeless allyship.
I really like the like nods to Sons of Horus with the autocannons and like things being a bit more brutal. That's very cool. I hadn't quite appreciated that that's what you were going for, and now I very much see it.
I like that helmet on the painted dude as well. Feels very sort of slightly more brutalistic.
Yes, that was very much the vibe. If you can get all those like ones of the, I want to say it's pronounced Nemes, of the big headpieces, but yeah, I wanted to go for that slightly more reduced vibe, and there will be a lot of Eyes of Horus transfers on there once I get to that stage.
Nice. Well, I was thinking with that vibe, what could be quite cool is thinking about how, because we're quite lucky you have that in other legions where it's the thing. Obviously, you have the Raven Guard Deliverers, right? Where they obviously have, and that's how the unit fights and how it's equipped. So I was thinking that with Thousand Suns could be quite cool if you did. I don't know what weapons you can give Sekhmet, but I don't say with the Tartarus, like siege terminators, I don't know if you can give them like multi-melters or things, or you could kind of like make a mini Justaerin, like guys that would have fought with Justaerin, that, or like how Chieftains are or how Reavers are, but Thousand Suns versions because they fought alongside them and they're really pro them. That could be quite cool.
I know Thousand Suns
it's
like
like
a convent scheme as well. So that'll have been guys who went off to all kinds of legions, and I think that's a good idea actually.
That'd be quite cool.
Because the Sekhmet, you can have power axes, right? You could have them as like tabars, or you could use those Warcry sets. I think it's the Fire Worshipper ones. They've got some really interesting like axes that work as a weird blend between Egyptian and the more brutal kind of Chthonian style.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there, which I like a lot. I'm very excited to, when you finish the stupid Space Wars for greetings, getting some cool red boys.
I am desperately trying to paint 15 Cataphracti in 3 weeks, and I'm feeling it.
Are you going to get the, this is off topic, but are you going to get the Shadow Sword? Shadow Sword, yeah, you're doing. Is he going to get
it? I have it partially on the desk of the bits that I've done so far, and you can see there is one resin part on there. So no, is the exact since I've done it. I'm trying to make it look more like, and this is really my first foray into designing parts myself, is try and make it look more like the Legions Imperialis one, of having that more Solar Auxilia flavoured Shadow Sword. But no, Lloyd has very kindly donated me a very Welsh Imperial Knight that I'll be using for that instead.
That's pretty cool.
It's got a dragon on it or something.
Oh, yeah, dragon or a Welsh cake or something.
I think it does. It's green and red, which
oh wow.
he first said he felt looked a bit festive, and I think he's now added a bit more dragon iconography.
Yeah, cool.
The Christmas night.
The Christmas night, yeah. Is there any more pictures? There are more pictures. Yes.
Ooh, yes. Particularly the sorcerer I need to discuss here. But yeah, I wanted to do, as I kind of discussed with what drew me to Space Wars in the first place, was any kind of plastic kit that I could work in here. And so I was determined and very pleasantly surprised by how well they scaled to get the rubric parts involved in there. I was pretty pleased with them, particularly for the Kenetai. I really didn't expect them to be particularly dynamic, but they actually worked okay. And I'll use them for sergeants and, as I said, Kenetai, probably veterans as well. I'll work in a couple of rubric marine bits. Just I think they're really cool. And yeah, similarly inspired by the cover of Thousand Suns, because that has some really nice armor designs on there. And then yeah, gosh, have to talk about this Prosperine Sorcerer. Or do I just pass it over to Nick, or do I try and interpret first and then let him fill the inevitable gaps?
Uneasy.
Yeah, so this is a very generous gift for some printing that I did. A Prosperine Sorcerer, and used the really cool Mephiston model as a base, because I think my characters are all going to be that sort of embiggened scale that I think the characters use anyway for
definitely
nowadays. And yeah, gosh, Nick just went to town with all these beautiful Visions of Heresy references. I don't know if it's coming up too well in the picture, but he's got a really cool one-eyed mask going on, has all that musculature for the Pavoni, and I want to say that staff is an Age of Sigmar piece.
It's from the chap with the like one of the Ossiarch bone staffs.
Just going to be a nice status machine that I'm leaning towards putting in a drop pod.
That'd be cool.
Drop pods are really cool. I'm not looking forward to painting that though, so.
But
How would you even do that with oil paints? Oh my god.
Exactly.
You'll be pro.
Beautiful blends.
You'll be pro by then. You'll be like, what? You know, you guys take like a week to pick a unit. I've just blended my way. Already done. Completed it.
What I'll actually have done is consumed enough thinners to kill me, and I'll be quite dead by then.
That's powerful. That's the best way.
We'll have to weekend at Bernie's you to the
Exactly.
1,000 Sun event.
Roll
Yeah.
the dice, Faye.
It's like, oh, your armor's just fallen off. Like, it's like... no, they're very, very cool. Yeah, the Kennetai, I love the use of I like the 40k plus 1,000 Sun stuff. I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, the Sorcerer is fantastic. Loving
Cool.
loving that. I'm very excited to see him painted up. Now, have we got any more boys? Oh no! Oh no!
Ooh.
That's it.
We
Yeah,
found out
got-
what the centerpiece for the Thousand Suns is going to be.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
That's
gonna
great.
be?
Or is that a work in progress?
No, so obviously I'm working on the Shadow Sword, and I'm going to do that as probably the Chthonian Headhunters, just for another like Little Sons of Horus crossover. It's the red that I really like. But I think the actual centerpieces I found, I can't remember the name of the designer. I'll have to try and track them down, but they do a very cool, almost prawn-looking Battle Titan model. And I've really wanted something to reference that excellent scene where I want to say it's Ammon, but that might be wrong. Takes over one of the,
Colossus,
takes over one of the Achaean Titans.
the Canis Rex or something, isn't it?
I can't remember. Either way, sick scene. Kills a load of space wolves.
Yeah.
What they deserve. And yeah, just wanted to reference that a bit, so definitely will. That maybe one of them got snuck off world, or Zhao Card made another one, or yeah.
Because that one's a Warlord Titan, I think, or something mental
Ooh,
like that.
Maybe
Yeah.
not that then.
I always thought of it as a Warhound, but yeah, I think it's actually a war
That's fine.
insane
Manifolds.
size to
Listen,
have an
I've
army.
made my bed now in front of the eyes of, well, at least you three.
Yeah, there may be
It
as
must be
many as
done.
one other person. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the one person that watches this. Yeah, damn it, Faye, you've really, you know, tied yourself into a corner there with that one, haven't you?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's very exciting to see. I'll be waiting for that one. And in terms of like, have you got like I'm trying to remember, have you got a list for the Suns? Like, do you know what you want to like build towards, or are you just sort of ad hoc?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to aim for a 1750 list by April, which I know sounds to many of you very achievable.
Just checking how many months you got, like.
It's multiple, but as people who knew me for Goonhammer last year was up until, gosh, half three the day before getting stuff done. So yeah, I'm hoping to get a 1750 list there, and it's classic tacticals, a Rhino, a drop pod. I really want to do, I've got a Saturnine Dreadnought that I want to do because there's a very funny combo to make them toughness 10, and I just think that's hysterical. and chain fist dreadnoughts. I think Matt, you might have put
Oh, yeah.
this of the double chain fist dreadnoughts. I think anything that gives me an option to play double chain fist dreadnoughts is sick.
Yeah, when we were in that sort of fever dream of how the fuck are you supposed to kill like a billion Spartans and or Kratai?
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that? And it's like, well, there's only one way. Two double chain fist dreadnoughts, right?
Correct. Clifford the Big
Full
Red
set.
Dreadnought is going in.
Yeah, get him up the board and Bosch in AV14 left, right, and centre. No, that's pretty cool.
I mean, with the way that metas kind of develop and die so quickly at the start of an edition, you could, if you played enough games with enough people, spread the good word, the gospel,
Of course.
the chain fist dreadnought, and just make it a thing.
I think there's legs here, and not just of the dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
I think that got more than it
Like,
deserved.
next event, next Goonhammer event, everyone's got double chain fist dreadnought.
Oh, be like, oh, we've got to limit, double chain fist dreadnoughts. Like, you can only take one mortificator with a dreadnought talent now. Like, it's
eBay is filled with Kratos on sale.
Yeah.
My Kratos gone. My Spartan ruined.
Yeah.
People obviously double down on autocannon squads as well, because those things chew through dreadnoughts, right?
Yeah, gosh. I've only committed to 5 because the Thousand Suns combo is a bit gross.
Yeah, seems pretty.
Everyone has to have fun here, and I feel that rolling some 5s and saying all those Terminators are dead is not.
Wait, you're not going to do what Isaac's doing and taking your 10 Seekers that all rend and shred on whatever it is on 5s? What? Is that not?
It's really good. It does require you to roll well, but a third of all your hits,
Just
a third of all your shots.
Whack it.
God.
Could have been Rending
Gross.
6. I really think it could have been Rending 6 and we'd have been
Yeah,
fine.
Wending. Oh God, it's so gross. Are you're taking the greetings, aren't you, Isaac?
Yeah.
God, you fucking whacker, mate.
Oh, we're getting to that after, you know. we got that.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So there we are. Those are the 4 forces that we are looking to do. I think next time we meet, it will be an update on say developments, what we've done on top of it, maybe like showing off an extra cool like 500 points or so. We'll have all been to greetings, so we'll be able to get some pickies of that and some of the armies here in action, which I think are really cool. And it'll be nice to see like how our army sort of change. Well, at least for obviously Isaac's running Thousand Suns, but Nick and I are playing our Tale of War Gamers army.
You're playing them already.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to play Ultramarines, right?
Yeah.
And I think it might be cool. I need to read up because the people that have done the event have done some cool fluff. So I think I'd quite like to base my army in that system and see them sort of grow from there. I think it'd be quite cool. So yeah, we'll see how it evolves. So in terms of like the sort of final part, the finale of the first episode, I think I'd quite like to just sort of talk about sort of 3rd edition and kind of our thoughts about it. Not going to be talking about what's good. Not going to be talking about in terms of like rules and whatnot and X, Y, and Z like this. Go watch Heresy Hammer or the various other people that actually dissect it, because that's not what we're here to provide. I kind of wanted to see how, because we've all played some games now. We all enjoyed the roller coaster of emotions that was the release of 3rd edition. And say everyone's at least played a game, and obviously Faye and Nick, you've been to an event. How are you guys feeling about it? I think I'd quite like to maybe start with Isaac, just because you've played one game. How are you after your one game? How are you feeling about it?
You mean the one game that I played that was yesterday?
Yeah, it's fresh in your mind.
It's all fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
So the context of the game was it was just like a pick up and kind of play game with an opponent that I've been meaning to play against for about a year. He brought his Death Guard and he kind of talked me through all the rules. Couldn't have asked for a better first game.
Perfect.
I think we circumvented a lot of the stuff that people find frustrating. So all of the terrain was, because it was just buildings, like solid, fully built buildings or generators, or shipping containers, it all blocked line of sight. So there wasn't any, whoops, 3 inches in, you can't see me. We both took pretty high lethality. I'd say we took stuff that would like reliably remove dudes from the board.
Yeah.
So there was some autocannon squads, Volkite squads, a Cerberus on his end. I had Cerberus, some Seekers, Recons, and an Inversion Beamer, Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff that was like rock, paper, scissors, scissoring other stuff. You know, where it's just like, yeah, okay, that just removes that from the board.
Yeah.
So that made for quite a quick game. I enjoyed it. I wasn't like, oh god, this is unpleasant. It just felt like trying to hum a familiar tune, but it's out of tune. Because stuff means other stuff now from what it used to mean.
Yeah.
Like they've swapped words around seemingly arbitrary. There doesn't seem any rhyme or reason to why they need to change what rending does versus breaching, and yeah, but that's fine. Shred is kind of useful now, but in a different way. I had no problems with it. Honestly, I was expecting to be saltier because of the discourse online.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't the case. I think, yeah, it gives me the experience that I wanted.
That's good.
And that I used to get from the old edition. So ultimately, I got no real complaints. I think I had fun. I'd happily play it again, which is good because I've got like 2 more events this year, right?
Yeah, I would play again.
Otherwise, that's 130 quid.
Yeah, really like lost money, right? Like
Exactly.
That's good. I think yeah, it's a lot of it is down to who. I think you know how your opponent's coming at it, how you're coming at it, and if we're both on the same page, I think it'll be fine. When you just sort of see past the sort of jankier rules and you know, think about the hobby, because some of it can get a bit messy. But no, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, Thousand Suns are in such a nice place now compared to how they were in first and how they were in second.
Yeah, first they were horrendous, weren't they?
First, you spent the whole game apologising because you got an entire special turn just to yourself, and the opponent just kind of had to go to the rink.
This is fun.
Yeah, they just had to sit in the chair and just watch. Whereas second edition, no point bringing them because your Legion trait can kill you. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm glad it went well. And Faye and Nick, having been to Goonhammer, the notorious tree gate.
I was about to say that.
Did you guys? I mean, it sounds like you guys had a good time.
I absolutely loved it. It was great. I think for me, what kind of towards the end of second edition, I kind of, when I saw what opponent I was matched up with, I could kind of tell what army they were going to take. Everyone had locked in their rights of war. Everyone had locked in the unit. And actually, the armies were, okay, there was a core. Like, tactical marines were definitely a core for most armies. But the ancillary stuff outside was actually really quite varied. There was stuff that you were like, huh, I don't think I saw that in second edition, and stuff like that. And actually, I really enjoyed it. And like the game, like the statuses were actually quite fun and interesting, and gave like another like tactical layer. And I just thought, and all the one thing I kept discussing with people was all the weapons feel like they have a place now.
Yeah.
They actually all do stuff, and there isn't just the optimal thing. Like autocannons outside of Death Guard, great. Like all sorts, like Thunderhammers are not the auto pick for all your characters anymore. So I enjoyed the challenges as well. Like I had a couple of really great challenges, and my all-time favorite one was where my Terminator champion, along with some suzerain, charged into a squad of Justarin.
Nice.
10 Justarin versus 5 suzerain, and my champion beheaded the sons of Horus Praetor in a challenge and caused the Justarin to flee like the little bitches they are.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the challenges I thought was one of the things everyone was saying, it's the big boogeyman and this is like slows down the game, XYZ. But once you actually know how they work, it is a lot of fun. And it's a lot of like nail biting stuff of like, oh, if I do this gambit, it might do this, or it might pay off, or I might just die, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's cool. If you say to distill it, have you got like, what was the one thing you enjoyed the most, and then the one thing that you would sort of, maybe you didn't enjoy, or you'd like to see like improvement with the games that you've played?
The thing I enjoyed the most, I don't know, it just felt also new in a way, like familiar but new, and like trying out new units. And like a favorite moment of mine was when someone, I think it was a tactical squad was trying to gun down my tactical squad, and then I did the Ultramarines reaction with my Saturnine Dreadnought with dual graviton pulverizers, and I just compressed an entire tactical squad into a little ball of flesh and ceramite, and that was like, that actually feels really cool.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't like, I think, the core missions, man.
Yeah.
Like, we luckily played 2 missions that were designed by the organizers and 2 core, and like the difference between the 2 organizer missions and the core missions were huge. Like the organizer missions, I was like, oh, these are so much better, so much better. Like it was the core ones are hot garbage.
Yeah. I'm glad that you guys are saying this, because that is a big thing for me. Those core missions are fucking dog shit. I'm not going to go on a rant because I will save that for later while you guys talk. Nick, I'm glad you had a good time.
How did the autocannon armistice do?
Oh yeah, of course.
Actually, absolute paragon of battle, autocannon armistice and that tactical squad, absolute chad. Like a headshotting Justarin with crits, like taking wounds off Thanatars, killing Thalax, like just adding like a couple of extra hits on like a squad that would often help them like panic or things like that. He was actually really good. Like I didn't feel like I wasted him, and sometimes it was just fun because he had a little bit more threat range, so he could reach out and touch units that were like rapid, like assault units that were like coming towards my tactical squad. He could just coupley, and then if you were lucky, you got a couple of 6s, and then watch as their beloved Terminator has some Coke can sized holes punched through them.
That's really cool. That's everything you want from that experience, right?
Yeah.
That's great. I might do one now.
He's got has he got a augury scanner as well on his?
Yeah, he's got an augury scanner, so you can't shroud against him.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I want to say at one point because the last game of the tournament was Lloyd and I, Nick and Luke of Stracture fame. I want to say you reacted and put a pretty gnarly hole in a fire raptor at one point with him.
Yep. I took about 3 hull points of a fire raptor with an intercept reaction with the armistice.
That's real cool.
Oh, so you played with Sriracha, like the Sriracha Wargaming, is it? Oh, he's a cool dude. Yeah, Samit and I played a game against him at Doubles in Greetings a few years back.
No line in his army. He went balls to the wall with Vanguard. It was mad, but it was a lot of fun.
He's a cool dude. Nice. No, I'm glad. That is what we like to hear. And then Faye, in terms of your hot takes, experience.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was so nice being back in it after, because I didn't go to many events earlier in the year. I actually think it's really good. They were my first 4 games for this event, and they were just great. It was. I was saying to Isaac a little bit earlier that maybe it was just by virtue of it being a doubles tournament, but it felt like there were a million tacticals everywhere, and so many key moments of objectives were decided by whose tacticals wrestling in the mud to try and stab each other won the combat.
Yeah.
And then gun down the other tacticals on the way out. It was proper. It felt like good tactical hammer for a good section of the tournament, which is sick. I really love that. In terms of my standout moments or mechanics, I enjoyed the challenges a lot, but I think for me it's the new vehicle damage system. I took my 2nd edition powerhouse, the Sikaran Omega. I'm normally used to firing a single beautiful barrage and then immediately exploding.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually... Oh no, I think it died in our very first game against Toby and Scott, but in my other 3 games it lasted the whole way. It was placing damage to pie plates all over the place. Feels fantastic that even rhinos might actually make it till the end of the game now.
Yeah, rhinos are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't bring something really gnarly, a tank is not really going anywhere. So yeah, I love that. Mechanics unimproved. I think Nick has unfortunately sniped the one that I had in mind for the core missions. Feel a bit naff.
Or is there anything sort of in terms of like rules, interaction stuff that you were like, God, this feels a bit, yeah, or I didn't really quite this. Like, did you play any games where you did rules as written cover in terms of for like medium cover? That's the big boogeyman, I think.
We did it for the very first one, but I don't think I got a proper representation of it because Tony agreed to only melee each other.
Nice. Problem solved.
I firmly lost, which was hilarious to behold. I think... Yeah, I don't think we had any particular issue with cover. I think we had a couple of interesting... And I say interesting, I think more I need to kind of develop my opinion on this a little bit more, of Vanguard interactions that feel very tricky to avoid. And I know that's basically the point of those units, that it's baked in that they cost a lot, but they come with like Vanguard 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That it feels like a very strange dance of having a line unit on an objective, and then either someone has saved their reaction to dash them off and therefore deny you Vanguard points, or they don't, and then sometimes the game is swung in those Vanguard moments.
Completely.
So I don't know how I feel about them yet, but it didn't feel
To
bad.
my shame,
But it sure is a moment.
I've reacted off an objective. I feel bad about it. But in that game, the one game I bet I had to react off an objective. I thought those siege Terminators were going to kill me.
Completely.
What do you do?
It's like completely a thing. Yeah, I think it's why like in this I've maybe got like maybe 1 Vanguard, 2 at a push with like Master Signals thing, just because anybody, you know, if you have like a more experienced player, they will just react off, they will just wait, and they will just move your movement reaction off, and then jobs are good. Because it's so big, having that like 3, 4, 5 victory points is huge.
Do you think you get a little bit, maybe too much? Because the fact that you get to react off during a movement phase, I think maybe gives it a smidge too much. If you had to give up your shooting reactions and give up those decision points and then decide in the assault phase to back off, then maybe your opponent could counterplay it. But I don't really know. I'm not a game designer, but it was interesting. I don't know how I feel.
It was interesting to jump in on the Vanguard point with my doubles partner Luke playing 2 Vanguards, like an assault squad and a veteran assault squad. What I found was really interesting is he'd threaten 2 line units on 2 different objectives, and it was suddenly like, oh shit, which one? Because I've only got a limited amount of reaction points, because it's like 3, and it's not like you're getting 1, 2, 3 a phase anymore, and so more often than not, you could actually, if you were canny, you could kind of you could bait people into doing movement reactions and things like that. So there is this kind of like an almost like psychological bluff game, basically.
Yeah. I think because I played a game that was quite like that, where it was I played some Ultramarines and my small amount of Dark Angels against James, like Roman Painting, and another chap who was going to the Goonhammer event because they wanted to try out what they were going to use. And we had a lot of that dance because he had quite a bit of Vanguard with like Night Lords and Sons of Horus. And that's exactly what I did. I just waited for all my Ultramarine Tactical Marines bundled up to the mid objective points, scored a load of things, and they just fucked off because I was like, sure, you can shoot me now because I don't have any reactions yet. I can't return fire, or this, that, and the other. But I'm off the objectives. It's the point. I think you might have people that are like, oh yeah, I prefer to shoot here, or I prefer to do this, that, and the other. But if you get the people that are just completely dialed in when they know these victory points will win you the game, so screw it, I'm just going to run away, which can be a bit feels bad, I think. I think it'll be one of those things that you'll if you have like a little token Vanguard unit, that'll be quite fun, like a veteran assault squad, or like a shooting Vanguard unit obviously will be pretty good, but that's quite tricky as well because you have to like time your shooting attacks right, because if you don't kill enough, or if you want to soften up with some bolters and you accidentally kill them, you don't get your Vanguard anymore because you're waiting for your Terminators with Vanguard to kill them. It's it's interesting.
So that's why I think something like a drop pod heavy flamer squad with a Master of Signals to giving them Vanguard could be really good because you're routing them off an objective quite likely. So
I think it's
cool.
you need some data on that, but most importantly, Faye, you guys won the best gooners, didn't you? You
We
gooned
did.
the most, right?
We successfully gooned... I'm not really going to finish that sentence. Yeah, we did. We came away with some hardware, which is a really pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
awesome.
I've got it here. I was prepared. Oh god. Oh Jesus. It weighs
So
a
heavy.
ton.
It's gold.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very cool. I'll try and get it to... It was a combined 1 games and favourite opponent vote.
That's very cool.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was good. It was great. It was a very, very nice thing to end up with.
Best award, that the most sporting combination thing. It's
Perfect.
no, fantastic. And so I think just talking about those bloody missions, I tell you, it's interesting because what did the thingy ones have you do, the actual the EO ones? How were they sort of slightly different? Was there anything sort of quirky about them?
there was so the first one, which was the second game, you placed 3 objectives down, and we numbered them. We agreed between both teams. You're like, this is objective 1, objective 2, objective 3, and basically what you then did is you secretly decided between your team what one was worth 1, 0, and 3.
Cool. Yeah.
And then even if you got a line unit on the 0 objective, it was 2, you still got the 2 points and things like that, but you could really do it, and you didn't tell your opponents till the end, so you were telling your opponents what line and Vanguard you were scoring, but you didn't know. You're like, is that the 3 objective that they're going, or are they bluffing me with this? And it was really, really interesting, and it made the objectives a little bit more oh god, have we made the right decision here, and stuff like that.
I believe Zach, one of the excellent event organisers, called it War of Lies but not shit, was the
Yeah.
they were going for.
Because War of Lies was shit.
Pretty
Oh.
perfect.
First edition War of Lies was absolute fucking hot garbage, that mission.
Not a tear was shed that day.
Yeah. It's interesting that you guys having, especially Faye, you only played a couple of the base missions and immediately been like, they're fucking awful.
I played 2.
That's pretty, because I just found that I think the overarching thing I found with them is that all that mattered was that you're getting your dudes on the points and then shooting your opponent's dudes off the points. Everything else was superfluous. It didn't matter if my Kratos shot at your Kratos and killed it, who gives a fuck? Because all it cares about is those like 20 dudes on points for 4 turns.
So I played the one where it's, well, I don't know if they differ. Where it's like just 3 objectives like placed on the map with one in the center, and the one in the center's worth more, and then the other one, the secondary ones are worth less. What was the bone of contention with that? Because it seemed like, at least in our game, it was a case of setting up enough like rhinos to block access to the objectives, and just like delaying tactics. Yeah. Which, to be fair, I did a pretty good job of delaying myself by creating a log jam between like impassable terrain and transports.
Isaac, you can move your tanks through your own units though, it doesn't matter. Right.
No, because a rhino and a land raider by the same space as each other don't work.
Yeah, fair enough.
Between that and me leaving my Forge Lord out, so he can, first bit of shooting of the game, 10 Volkite Culverins to his face.
Yeah, pick him up.
Well, at least
I made so many dumb decisions. But yeah, like the objectives didn't seem truly awful. Is there like some nuance that I'm missing there from just only having played one game? Is it that it runs away very quick to score?
It just, to me at least, it just felt that there was very little else to think about other than what turn am I putting my tacticals on, what turn am I Terminators getting involved. Well, I didn't have any Terminators, I used a jet by command, but functionally the same. It was basically just, are my tacticals on it? No. Kill the tacticals that are on it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really much else to think about. Like, sure, there's a big angry blast over there, I should probably kill that, but...
Doesn't matter. Why do that when you can kill the tacticals?
I say this as if the first game we didn't lose horribly, so clearly my thinking wasn't that good.
I think you're right. I think that's definitely how having like stress tested it in a couple of missions, that's definitely what it was like. And it's like, oh, is this fun? I don't know if it is. So I think different missions will be way more fun. Like playing, if we do some like Maelstrom missions, I don't know if the missions for greetings have gone up. I don't think. But I assume
December are using some sort of like Maelstrom equivalent.
Yeah. I assume that the people doing greetings in September will have made their own missions, which I'm sure will be fantastic. As long as they're just not those ones, it'll be fine. And a lot of the cool ones that you had from second edition, you can definitely port over and just change a bit, so it works. There's no reason why you couldn't. And it's less just like dudes hunkering in buildings for like 3 turns, and my 10 Seekers can see 1 tactical marine. They're all dead. Like that kind of shit. So yikes. So
that felt bad actually, having that moment. I think it was like an inversion beam or wiping out. So I could like clip a few.
Well, it did that before, though, didn't it? You could do that with blasts anyway. That's how blasts work.
Well, there we go. If I could turn back time.
that's how blasts worked in second edition, right? Like,
to be fair, I don't think I ever really used blast off.
Nobody did. Whereas for third, it's they're so good now. They're really good now. But that's so you're not here for. That's not telling you tactics. They're both pretty good.
Well, no, come on. You need to define the metaphor.
Well, it's pretty good. Like, because you snap shooting, you can still hit, can't you? And even then, if it's a big enough template, you'll still clip a few dudes. It's pretty good.
That's why I swear by now that the Vindicator with the Demolisher Cannon is better than the Laser Destroyer Vindicator, because even if you miss, you're likely to hit.
Yeah, chances are he'll hit.
That sounds awfully like
there's nothing better than when your opponent decides to expose the side armor of their Predator to your Vindicator, and you just plonk a nice big hole through there.
Pick it up, mate. Yeah.
Guys, this sounds like rules. We should actually be talking about how would you paint an explosion.
That's very true. Yeah. Well, I'm putting transfers on his kill markings on my Cerberus, so he has.
I gotta do that now.
He's got 3 kill markings. He's got his big one for Nick's Saturnine Dreadnought, and then 2 small skulls for the land raiders that he's caught. So that counts, right?
Oh yeah, I got Cerberus. That was good.
Yeah.
With my Cerberus.
Oh, big game
Pointing
hunter.
Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, literally, like, what? No, brilliant. Well, anybody got any sort of closing thoughts, sort of a couple of months into 3rd edition that they want to sort of share that feel we haven't touched on? Sort of feeling excited, sort of, hopeful. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, I think now discourse has quietened down a bit and people are just getting on with their hobby. Like the Heresy Hammer chats kind of died now, which is in a way nice. Just like general babble rather than this frenzied, like piranha tank stripping every bit of morsel of information you can get from any news article.
Yeah, that sort of echo chamber has definitely died, which is nice.
Which, for the record, I was all for. I bathed in that drama. I revelled in that drama. But now I'm tired. I just want to play some toys.
Yeah, it's just people talking about Heresy now, which is nice, rather than just screeching, which is nice.
Yeah, the vibes are much better now.
Yeah, for sure. Which is what we're all about, Heresy vibes. So the bit that you have to do at the end, the socials. So insert the socials are here. So we have our three, Nick's, mine, and Isaac's Instagram, because Bay's too good for Zuckerberg. We've got obviously the podcast, which Nick and I will try and regularly upload, or maybe have one of these two on for deep dives. You never know, if you're lucky, maybe, who knows. Obviously the YouTube, which this obviously is on because you are watching it, and then obviously Nick's Bebo. If you want to check out Bad Boy Nick 92 for some early 2000 vibes, and then of course our Heresy only fans, Matt Full of Feet. So you can enjoy all of that. That's Isaac's little flair for that. So thank you for everybody who has listened to us ramble on about hobby for the past however long. I can't tell because I'm saying I have no idea how long we've been doing this for. Maybe hour and a half. Who knows? It's always great that people do like to listen to us talk about Heresy and just ramble on, go on tangents, and have a good time. If there's anything that obviously people didn't like, obviously please let us know. Obviously this is sort of self-indulgent for us because we want to chat about this and we enjoy talking to one another. But if there's anything that anybody would rather hear, not hear, XYZ, let us know. And I think that pretty much covers it. Have you guys anything else? Any closing remarks, comments, vibes, political statements?
Vibes.
Only thing from me is big thanks to everyone who played us on at the Goonhammer Open and came to chat with us. It was really nice. It was lovely. It was such a good event.
It was a great event, top tier, and with that little spicy nugget of drama I'm not going to go into, but Tree Gate was just, it was just so good.
Infinitely high trees, guys. Apparently that's a thing that exists in Heresy. And on that, I shall bid you adieu. Guys, this is where you say goodbye.